Welcome to Moments of Clarity podcast. We got Shaheem Rahman, B.o.B. I think I'll give you just one name this time around, right? In the intro. Anyway.
Bobby Ray Bands. What's up, man? I'm glad we got it together, man. I'm glad we on now.
Yeah, depend on the cell phone, not the computer, right? That's what we learned.
I know, right?
That's what we learned. Well, we've tried a few times. We're finally here. Where are you?
Right now I'm out in Stone Mountain.
Mount Georgia. Okay.
Yep. Where they out here building this huge ass Amazon center. So I guess I'm gonna get my packages on time now.
Yeah. Man, you G'd up. You look like you ready for Miami right now, man.
Hey, man, you know, man. I hear they finna open them beaches back up, man.
I heard that too, man. How do you feel about, Georgia? They experimented on y'all first, or one of the first states they experimented on, and it didn't really go all of that good. From what I read and saw in the news, the rate of coronavirus rose about 40% since they opened Georgia back.
Really? I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they saying, but from my end, everything, you really can't tell much is different. It still feels like a ghost town everywhere you go.
Oh, it does.
And yeah, it feels like, it's like a couple places trying to open back up, but I don't know, man. Like I think people is like really comfortable quarantining, man. Like I don't know, it's like
got used to it.
Yeah, I'm too used to it now. I don't know how I'm gonna integrate back into society, man. Like I like chilling at the crib. I'm making like 3 albums at the same time. I'm working on a project. Me and Sonny Digital working on an album. I just finished my album, Somnia. There's rumors me and T.I. might be working on the album. I don't know, man. It's like I'm working on a lot of shit right now.
Good rumors.
Yeah, we've been.
So I heard.
We were saying like it was so crazy. I remember I was talking to Shab maybe like 2 weeks ago. I was like, "Where the hell is B.o.B at?" Like but it just automatically just like you was just saying. I was like, "You must be in the lab plotting on something right now." Like that. I'm pretty sure. I know that's your MO.
I mean, it's been. I had to really like hone in on that, because I've been in a space where I'm coming up on like the 10-year anniversary of my very first album, and I remember when I was working on that album, I got a chance to go work with Eminem in Detroit, and I remember he was telling me like, man, this is the perfect time. You got all the time in the world because you're not on the clock yet. You know what I mean? Like you're not. He was just saying like basically like take your time with this shit. Time's your best friend. So, I feel like because I'm 12 years in now, I feel like it's in order to get like really good, phenomenal music, I feel like I have to take the time to take the kind of time that I took on the first album. Because once you come out and it's like popping and going, it's like you start to get your creativity starts to get synthesized. It starts to get like an assembly line where you just cranking out songs, performing, doing shows, come back, cranking out songs, go perform, doing shows. So, I took a lot of this time where it might appear as a hiatus, but I really just been, getting the mental clarity that I need and finding that mental space again that I was making, the space that I was in when I was making The Adventures of Bobby Ray and B.o.B versus Bobby Ray mixtape, No Genre, all the underground stuff that the world didn't really get to see first. I got back into that space. And so, as much as I hate quarantine, I feel like without this time to sit down, I probably wouldn't have. I probably wouldn't even went that far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You wanted a artist, man, that you know, we was talking about it yesterday, and you know, we'll bring it back up. The Lost Files, for the people watching this, we started our Lost Files, so we got Lost Files from yesterday with Bobby. But when me and Rahman was at MTV, obviously Mixtape Monday was a big thing, and you were a big artist, man. You one of the last guys who was making like the physical mixtapes where you could actually feel it,
Yes.
a disc changer.
Yo, I got it. Hold up. Yo, I think it's crazy. I got it in my book bag. Someone told me to put this in my book bag. This is the last physical album I ever put out. And
I remember that. Yeah.
And like I saw somebody mention it, and I was like, hold up. And then I was cleaning up something in my house and just came across this. So this was meant to happen. It was meant to talk about this.
How did you like that change, man, when things started to change? Right around the time when your first album came out, it really started to shift. Well, maybe a little bit after the first album came out, because I would say like we were still doing physicals in 2011, but around like 2011, 2012, it shifted to digital. How did you like that?
I mean, you know, I remember, you know, Atlantic always had me doing drops for Spotify before it was even like popular. And I was like, why? I was like, what is Spotify? Like, what? I'm probably one of the last people on planet Earth to download the Spotify app. And I've been doing drops for them for like 10 years. And so I didn't know what would become of it, because when it first started, all we was talking about was how little the payout is, you know what I mean, on them streams. And so, you know, fast forward to now it's like streams is your best friend, you know what I'm saying? It's not about the money when it comes to streams. It's really just more so like an indicator of, you know, numbers talk to you in that type of way. You know, now you can see, all right, fans like this, they also like this type of song with this type of, you know what I mean? So it's more like a trophy than anything. But I feel like it's kind of changed things, man, because like I forgot that this was even a physical album. Like I thought it was all digital until I started cleaning up my crib. So it's not even in your mind anymore to have a physical album. But I also have like, I got a pretty decent sized vinyl collection at the crib, and like just playing the music is like, I don't know, it's just like when you physically are holding it and you take it out and you put it on the turntable, put like that shit is like, I don't know, it just makes the music more enjoyable for some. It's kind of like how the presentation enhances your experience. Like if I go to a steakhouse or a Japanese restaurant and I order some sushi, like that motherfucker better come out on a platter. It better be drizzles on it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You gotta be real.
It's gotta be real.
Volcano, like the hibachi, they gotta make the volcano with the fire and all of that.
Yeah, I done seen it 1,000 times, but you gotta do it because that's what I'm paying for.
I think that, you know, what you talking about right now, and you mentioned it yesterday, and it's so crazy because it was in my head, and then you had mentioned it. It was, you was ahead of your time. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the music scene right now, even outside of like Atlanta, where obviously like Atlanta's still really running hip hop. Like, let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
There's really no debate about that. How it's kind of like really branched off and become a lot more mainstream. Like hip hop is the #1 genre right now, and you know, and
right.
If you look at the festival game and like these young up and coming artists and them being independent and stuff like that, you know, you was really one of the guys who like really laid that blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a part of this generation. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that? Like just seeing how much this shit has exploded like within the past 5 years.
I remember performing at festivals like Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza, even Coachella, like when it was really starting to get real commercial. but like South by Southwest, like I was doing all this stuff, and I was like, you know, the only rapper with a band, but like really like rocking out, like performing like a like low key. I was a rock band at one point, and you know, and so I would
remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, like it's certain
I joined
songs.
the rock band for a few minutes when we did the thing at your house. I was a member.
Yes, bro. Yo, my guitar player always tell me about that. He just in the basement, then the camera crew come in. It's his first day on the job. So it's like, you know, I saw all these festivals turn into like it used to be you was on stage rocking and the whole crowd doing this. And I remember the first year, I think it was 2 Chainz headlining it, and I was like, "This is crazy!" Like it's and then you saw less and less bands and more DJs and more LED screens and LED lights, and so it kind of, you know, the game kind of shifted to extremely digital. You know what I'm saying? Now it's just, you know, pretty much like, you know, I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. I mean, of course, I could be biased because, you know, shit, I want to perform with my band. You know, that's how I got down. So
Yeah.
But I adapted too. You know, we all adapt. I think being able to adapt is really the key. I don't think it's like being stuck in a certain way. Stuck in a certain way.
Yeah, you mentioned no genres, which is actually one of my most loved projects from you, man. And you know, you kind of was breaking barriers at the time because, you know, you got these records, and it's not the quote unquote street hip hop that some people are used to, but it was hip hop nonetheless, and it was getting you in the doors with like Obama and people such as that. And then
Right.
A few years later, you actually came with some music. You and 2 Chainz. It's funny that you mentioned them because you and 2 Chainz, y'all came with some music that, you know, was like one of the first times that give you a heavy presence in the club.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
what was it like when you was making that transition, you know, from doing like I mean, shoot, you were selling so many records, man. And
Yeah. We you know, we certain stuff like me and my team didn't really plan on. Like it's kind of like when you make a song, sometimes it could go pop and then cross over back into urban,
mm-hmm.
or it could start urban and go into the pop world. Like you know, we didn't, you know, when I made music, it's like it was pretty much like, all right, this could go both ways. It could go here, go there, but you know, depending on how you do it, depends on how successful that record is gonna be. You know what I mean? Because if you started out with the wrong people, it's just going, you know, just kind of suck the life out the record. But you know, when I look back on it, that's when I realized, like, damn, bro, like that shit is crazy how something will cross over from rhythmic to pop to rhythmic. Like it's wild how, you know, how it kind of could take a life of its own, and you can end up with a damn platinum record just because it had the right story to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know,
It's a journey. Do you and Bruno ever talk, man? Like, you know, that was his first big shot, and now, you know, he done went on to become a superstar as well.
I wish, you know, we probably stayed a little bit closer, perhaps. But you know, once you become an icon like that, you know, it's not really. It kind of just creates a lot more red tape. You know what I mean? You know, if you haven't talked to somebody in some years, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at the end of the day, that's my homie. You know what I mean? Like we used to write songs together in LA, and I just remember we were both just really trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't even have a car. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm just living in my girl's apartment at the time. But you know, it's just amazing because that whole first album and all them people that I worked with, from Bruno to Lupe, Haley, T.I., Playboy Trey, Janelle Monáe, Rivers Cuomo, like that's fucking, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Like, I don't know, because it's not even just the name. It's not even just the names of the people that I was working with. It's like, I felt like we opened up some type of portal or some type of shit like that. It was just like such a staple, you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like some of that is probably lost in the streaming game, because now it's just like projects just come out like hot potato. There's no real connection to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way how you can go and buy a vinyl and then open up the vinyl and you look at it, you read the lyrics, you flip open the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like it creates this connection to it. And now I feel like it's probably a little bit harder for fans to have connections to stuff like that. You know, I think one of the things that, or probably one of the more special connections you see with music and the fans is probably like, obviously, like the Baby and Meg Thee Stallion, because of how much character they put into their product. You know what I'm saying? Like you see how with a dope ass video could go a long ass way. You know what I'm saying? If you put yourself in it. And so, you know, and I don't want to sound like one of them old heads to be like, man, the game's not what it used to be. You know what I mean?
But it isn't. I mean, it
guy.
isn't that. So it's hard to not feel like an old head and then be like, well, it used to work a different way. And sometimes the old way could have been sweeter. Sometimes it's improved on, you know? It's kind of both ways with it.
Right.
But not even that, you know, like going back to what I was trying to say, like I feel like you really was one of the guys from, like, you know, this new era that we've been indulging in like the past couple of years, who really laid the blueprint. Like, are you how amazed are you at that, you know, Atlanta's still just like really killing it right now, you know, with like all this wealth of talent that's been coming out there?
You know, it kind of feels like, it kind of reminds me of like Motown, because Motown had this sound that it was just the sound. It's like, you know, you go get music from a certain era, it's like, why did all the music during the Motown era sound like the Motown era? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I feel like it's, you know, it's slightly different, because it's slightly different. But if like 10 years from now, maybe like 20 years from now, when you go back and listen to all the music across the world from the 2000s to 2020, right? 2010 to 2020, you're going to listen to that decade and be like, why did all the music sound like this? Like all the music, everybody make different music, but you can tell there's like an influence that's influencing all the music. You know what I'm saying? Even if you make EDM or electronic, I guess that's the same, fucking trap music, pop music, you can hear this influence and this sound in it. You know, it's like everything, all the culture and all the sauce is like captured into that decade. You know what I mean? So, you know, granted, it's probably just supposed to happen. You know, we just here talking about it as it's happening. But, you know, I suppose that's how it goes, and that's how it's always gonna go. I think it is crazy though that I'm in fucking Atlanta though.
Yeah. I mean, not even just the sound of the actual music, not just the sound of the actual music, but, you know, just stylistically, man. Like, I know when Bob was coming and so many comparisons to Andre 3000 early on, for stuff you did, and like you kind of really cornered the market on the rapping and then having the melodies as well. And it was very unique when you was doing it. You know, not too many people was doing it. Now it's like every rapper, new rapper coming out, they gotta have the raps and they gotta have the melodies that go along with it. You know, it's like then they're like 90% are kind of doing what you did originally.
And you got to say, right. You know, we knew, like, when I did that double XL cover, me and Charles Hamilton and I think it was Blue, Kid Cudi, Wale, all of us, Asheroff, all of us walked to the gas station after we finished the shoot. and you could just tell, like, it was just this something in the air. Like, you could just tell everybody, you know, like, we was all, it was like a friendly camaraderie type of feeling. Like, we all knew that we are a part of this change in the era. Like, the whole era is gonna shift right after wherever the fuck everything, whatever we do, wherever it goes. And just like, even Kid Cudi, like, he really blurred the lines of what it means to make a song and to make music. And you know, it's kind of like, that's where I feel like music got very genreless in hip hop, because it's always been all these alternative artists who probably, you know, may sing and rap, but for you to get accepted in that hip hop lens, you know, it's kind of a different thing. It kind of expands it a little bit. And, you know, it just, I don't know, it's like, to this day, I could literally make a rock album with no 808s and sing the whole album. They're gonna put it in the hip hop section.
Right.
You know, so
I mean, do you like that, or do you wanna be classified in different genres?
I kind of don't care. I don't care no more, because I did care, because it was like, you know, shit, I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fucking singing. Like, I remember T-Pain was using all of that. That was like the thing. When you went in the studio, every artist has had this thought before. Should I use auto-tune or should I not use auto? Like, if you was, you know, unless you just somebody that's rapping and you're not doing no kind of singing, you just rapping. But every artist went to the studio and thought, all right, man, throw a little auto-tune on there. Let me see what it sounds like. It's like, why not? You know what I'm saying? What? So, but, you know, I'm not saying that, like, you know, I was using the auto-tune sound, but just the freedom to start exploring and singing, you know, that's where all that I'll Be in the Sky and the haters everywhere we go, niggas thought I was Outkast and Andre, you know, like, that was the era for it. It's like, you know, I kind of had to be Big Boy and Andre in one person, you know, and so it's some things I probably it's probably some ground I couldn't cover because of that, because I'm like, you know, one person. But that was definitely the era, man. Like, we really, you know, me and a lot of other artists really kind of paved the way for that whole that pop eccentric hip hop shit. You know what I mean? Because it was shows where I was literally like the only rapper, the only black guy on the whole bill. Maybe like me and Neo, me and Usher. And now it's like everybody like, I remember it used to be kind of corny to go travel overseas and do shows. Right. Be over there with Germany. You know, it wasn't even like cool. Now it's like, what? Nigga, we everywhere. You could be in a third world country, still on the ground flex. Like, yeah, we out here in Latvia. You know, ain't never heard of that.
Swiss Beach just made a comment yesterday, or I think it was, about how the young rappers should pay some sort of tax to those that came before. You know, now if you've been in the game 12 years, you are somebody who came before. What are your thoughts on that? Something like that. Not to
Um,
not to go at Swiss or anything like that, but you are, you know, I mean, he's, I guess, defending you as being, maybe he's talking about KRS-One and older guys too, but you will
right.
be somebody who came before, not now and 10 years from now when it's even longer and stuff. So what do you feel about some sort of tax or somebody owing you anything?
Um, I mean, I feel like as far as like really being owed something, you know, if somebody samples your record, then I feel like that's like paying homage, and
Right.
also it's literally paying homage.
Right, because you're clearing it, yeah, and paying,
Right.
yeah.
But you know, I mean, I'm not, see me. I'm not the type of dude. You know, maybe I should be this type of guy. I don't know, but I never expect people to know who I am or expect people to know my music. Even if I go to the
That
club or
still
I go to a
surprises you?
concert, huh?
Does that still surprise you?
Um, nah, it doesn't surprise me, but I just, you know, I feel like it would definitely behoove somebody to know the history of hip hop, because I went back and studied it extensively and
Right,
was even amazed at the shit that I learned. You
right,
know, because I did grow up in the 90s, but when you go back to like the 80s and even the late 70s, and you can see how people were rapping in the 70s, it's like, whoa, hold on, I never knew
right.
this. You know, when you listen to Pig Meat Markham and he's rapping with the
Yeah,
whole band, well, I'm like, well, shit, ain't we doing that now? Isn't that what
yeah.
everybody's doing now? So it's like the blueprint is amazing, and I think it expands your mind, and you develop, you gain a different level of respect when you learn about it. But you know, I also feel like self-education is a privilege too. So if you don't take that privilege, then hey, that's your
That's not
loss.
you, yeah.
I was, you know, we obviously one of the biggest topics of conversation in this space right now is they've been talking a lot about like Michael Jordan and his documentary that's been on ESPN. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that people have been looking at is they've been amazed that, you know, this guy had so much success like so early on and walked away from success. And people was like, wow, why would you walk away from success like that? Yesterday when we was talking for a second, Shah had mentioned about the time when we had spoke, we was talking about retiring. Like, you know, I can't even really recall like one of you know another artist like that, you know, especially like from that region, like who was just so young and early in their career and just experienced that success like that. Like, what was that like for you? Like, did that play a part in you being like, yo, I'm good?
Well, I guess for me, it was always like a spiritual thing. And it felt fitting, you know, I'm not gonna lie and be like, man, the fame, man, just got too much. Like, nah, I'm with the shits. Like, I'm there for it. I think, like, for me, I just got, I got kind of, I got kind of mentally worn down because I wasn't giving my music the integrity that it deserved. Because, you know, maybe the fame affected that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when the whole world's watching, you definitely, you
Right.
know, it's like the whole science of quantum mechanics. When you observe a particle, I mean, when you observe something, it's a particle, and when you're not observing it, it's in waveform. So it's like just the fact that people are looking at me is changing. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of look at it like I was I felt like I was very talented, still am. You know, I'm just saying past tense. I felt like I had a lot of raw talent, and I felt like I was able to navigate through certain
Right.
gateways, you know, using my charisma, just really trying to get my foot in the door. You know, you need to get your foot in a lot of doors, you know what I'm saying? So, but I just felt like I kind of, the creativity, I won't say creativity, the integrity of my music, I felt like kind of took a back seat to the success, because it's like, all right, what are you willing to do to be successful? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can see on the Bulls documentary, like, this shit is beyond just like having a good jump shot and having having good lungs and strong bones and shit. Like it's a very psychological thing, and then they're dealing with the war on the floor, and then it's also the suits in the office they got to deal with, and all the little ins and outs. It reminds me of the music. It reminds me exactly of the music
Right.
is.
Yeah, that's why, because sports and music always like ran hand in hand, and we all come from these same communities, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
ball players and artists and shit. And even, the people behind the scenes, like working in the industry. Like, I know that it's two sides of the coin, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you've been one of the most, again, like successful artists who's really been like just doing that. And I think it's actually dope, when you mentioned that you took some time off, because those are like, to me, like those are like the really, really like special artists. Nothing against nobody. But when you see, because back in the days, like we used to always, it would be like niggas would drop albums and they go away for like a year, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And that was up until like the whole, like, what was it, shot like Master P and shit like that. And then niggas just start, and then Def Jam went on their run. They just kept putting out albums. But it's like, I was always a fan of like when niggas would really like take that time and show how much they perfected their craft and shit like
Right, right. And a lot of artists, I see a few artists do that blur that line, like let's say like a Kid Cudi or what's the guy's name? Childish Gambino, and Adele. You got these artists that they just, Kendrick, they vanish. You don't see them up. Like they gone.
Or
and
even like an Erykah Badu or a D'Angelo or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
D'Angelo different though. D'Angelo, we're gonna be waiting 10 years, but he a little different.
And I guess Michael Jordan leaving the court was like, in between albums.
Yeah.
But like one thing I did notice, something that stuck out to me, is that when you just a fan of like Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson, and all these people, you see the end result of all the work that they did. And so listening to the politics of what they all had to go through as a team, it kind of made me feel like you can't complain about nothing as an artist. It's like, if you really want to perform and operate at the optimal level as an artist, you don't see them complaining. Like, fuck all that. Like, it don't make sense. Like, everybody got to deal with bullshit. Whatever industry you in, you got to deal with politics. You got to deal with, making people happy versus pissing somebody off versus not doing something on time, or you need more time or less time. So, I just feel like that's the nature of anything when you have a bunch of people performing at optimal levels of human capacity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were pushing it to the limit. How, because when Dennis Rodman was talking about how he was like, yo, I need 48 hours. You know how hard you working when you ask for your vacation in the unit of hours? Like, my nigga, I have been there. I have been like, yo, I need a day. Like, I need a off day.
But I want to go back to you talking about the integrity of the music, because when people see this, that's going to be the question. Like, you talking about coming from a mixtape background and having like some of the most acclaimed mixtapes of that era, and then stepping into a music label situation where you might have A&Rs bringing you songs to do and saying, hey, this is the way to go, as opposed to some of the things that you was making organically.
Yeah, I definitely dealt with that, man. I have fought many battles over songs that I brought to the table. And I'm like, how did another producer end up producing to my song? Like, it goes so many ways. You do sessions, you be like, yo, when I get to this studio, I don't want y'all to pull up a song and try to make me cut a song. I want to make something from scratch. And then you can be like, all right, cool. You go to the studio, it's exactly what you didn't ask for. And you're like, God, like what is, it's so much bullshit with that. And it's a lot that I had to deal with. But, it's kind of like the Jerry Krause situation with the bull. Like, it's so identical to the music industry. It's insane. It's like, yo, Jerry Krause is like, the suit that you don't like, the A&R that's always, you know what I'm saying? It's like you deal with that. There's one on every label, I'm sure. I'm sure like in the movie business, it's the same thing. Sports, the same thing. So I use that as an excuse for a long time. And that's what puts the integrity in the backseat when you make an excuse. Like, because you have to know there's a difference between being stubborn and then like keeping the integrity of your music. Cause like there's certain stuff I'm just not gonna do. And it's not me being stubborn, cause I'm just not gonna do it. Like it's not a stubborn thing. So as an artist, you have to learn and navigate. You have to learn how to navigate through. You have to have discernment to be able to make them tough decisions, man. Cause you're gonna be pushed to your limit mentally and physically. And even at that point, you still got to make decisions and you still got to call the play. It's like Peyton Manning in the fourth quarter and 2-minute drill. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that mental clarity even when you're exhausted. And that's the shit those are the moments. Like, it's not when you sitting around and you ain't got nothing to do. Those aren't what makes greatness. It's when you get pushed to your limit and then you got to decide, oh shit, I got to go home. I got a funeral to go to. And also I got a show and I got to figure out how I'm going to make this happen. And then Jesse J wants me to do this song while I'm on tour with Eminem and Jay-Z. And yo, Jesse J, I know I'm jumping around, but yo, she worked and got that fucking song. She was dedicated and I was so busy and I wanted to do it, but I just literally didn't have the time, man. It's like insane how jam-packed your day could be. And so, but she flew, she followed me around. We kept missing each other. So it took like 3 days and we ended up, I think I only had enough time for 1 hour to go in the studio, do my verse. I think maybe like 2 hours. And, that was another song that ended up a huge fucking song. So it's like, you really have to go through these things because it does boil down to like a matter of seconds, a matter of moments, so.
That's a lot of pressure, not to cut you off. That's a lot of pressure to kind of nail that verse. I was watching, I don't know what it was. It might have been Nori's Drink Champs and Fabulous was on there. He said that he paid Lil Wayne $100,000 for a verse. Wayne comes in 15 minutes, knocks it out and leave. Now, he got the verse, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Wayne feels pressure, period, but, when an artist, you have just a certain time frame and an artist is working so hard and so diligent to get you the verse, it's almost like a game. Like, they want you to put up you can't give them no 15-point game. You got to put up like 30, 35 points.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Like, yo, and during that run, that crazy run, I definitely paid the 100K tab for a lot of artists, like out of my own pocket, not even no label budget, like for certain people, but not for everybody, but it's really like it has to not be hard. You mentally have to just flip the switch and be like, when you got like 30 minutes to do a verse, or you got 30 minutes left to do a verse, or if you in any type of crunch time decision, you have to flip it and make it easy. You have to be like, this is easy, just like that. And it's like I guess it's like a muscle, you know what I mean, to be able to flip that switch, because that's the only way you're gonna get it done. The only way you're gonna get it done is if you tell yourself, you know what, this ain't that hard. Let me just do this. Let me just make it happen. And then that's how you get them touchdowns in fourth quarter and the last buzzer beater jump. You know what I'm saying?
But you also got to make sure the engineer's leveling your vocals right and all that. Like, it's not just
Hey,
person.
it's a team, bro. It falls on the engineer too. Like when your engineer got to be on point, and you can tell, like you can just tell, like it's funny because I came up working with Tip a lot, and I found my engineer through Tip's camp, and Tip engineer helped train my engineer, and they all fire, and they like super fast, like some of the best in the business, and you can just tell when you can tell an engineer who's been in high pressure situations, because you know once your wheels going, the engineer you gotta be ready, like, you know, especially working with Tip. Tip goes straight in the booth. You play a beat and then Tip be like, come on, let's go. We go in there. London J worked the same way. London J worked like that. Young Thug worked like that. Future worked like that. I work like that too, but I like I may go in there and like do some harmonies and shit. Like or grab a guitar or some shit. Like, let me put some guitar on the piano, put some piano on, whatever. And so, but like it's a part of the job description, definitely. Like the engineer being able to track you fast and be able to problem shoot and troubleshoot fast, you know, that's not like a bonus thing. That's like you supposed to know how to do that. You know what I mean? And I feel like as an artist, you got to have excellence around you too. You know, and I didn't even understand that. It's like you gotta like whatever you trying to be and exude in life, that shit gotta permeate all levels of your life. Like the quality of your friends, the quality of your family, or at least your relationship with your family, because you know everybody don't get along with their family like that. But just anything that's in your life, that shit gotta be quality, man. Like from your accountant to your lawyer, that shit gotta be quality. And I promise you, something is gonna fuck up and it's gonna require your attention, and you have to take your attention away from all these other things to deal with this shit over here that sprung a leak. So, you know, that documentary was definitely it definitely put a lot of shit into perspective for me. It made me be like, okay, all right, I'm not crazy. I just gotta
how much is this process like just this what's been going on for the past couple months, like just, you know, has it changed your perspective on just the entire game? Because, you know, we were just talking a couple minutes ago about, you know, the politics of the industry and moving around and stuff like that. And I think if there's one thing that's really been underscored, like for the past like 2-3 months, is that it's like artists and shit, even before this though, but even more so now, like artists and shit, they don't really need labels. They don't need labels. They don't, you know, it's all self-contained. You know what I'm saying? If Sha got your number, he could pick up, or V had your number, they can just pick up the phone and do an interview with you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you doing your own music in your crib, you shoot a video in your crib, whatever, put the shit out. It's like, and again, all due respect to these people and their jobs, not taking nothing away from them, but has this, you know, you've been sitting back and like really perfecting your craft, you know, for the, you know, however long, but how much has this added into that portion too, though? Thinking about that. Like, this is completely different. We've never dealt with no shit like this before.
You know, because it does change everything. Because on one side, it's like you don't need the label, right? But ever since I haven't needed the label, I've had to learn how to be a social media marketing guy. Right. I've had to learn how to edit videos. Like now, like I remember when the flip camera first came out, and it was like, yo, it's a fucking camera, and you just plug it into your computer. Like, nah, everything does that. Now you gotta know how to edit. You gotta know how to edit something, especially even if you just a soccer mom and you just taking a picture of your kids. You gotta know how to upload it to Facebook. You gotta know how to crop and edit and all this shit. So, you know, it's like now, you know, I feel like it's just a lot more digital now. But, you know, I don't have to go pass out mixtapes and CDs, you know what I mean? So I got more time to edit
Right.
and shit. So, you know, I think it's just, you know, if energy isn't created or destroyed, it just transforms, then I feel like a lot more of responsibility is in the hand of the artist now. And you got all these kids that are social media influencers that they had to learn the shit that now all the artists are trying to learn. Cause now it's like being an artist ain't the, you know, that's not enough. You gotta damn near, you gotta be an influencer also. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be a guru, man. Yo,
Yeah.
I know how to entertain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like for you going to meet Barack in the show?
I was surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised because I mean, he's a very poised. He has a very poised temperament, and you know, I was just shocked that they would even let me in the White House or around anything political. All the shit I be talking about in my music. I was like, they want me? They want me to perform for president?
You get to the White House and they be like, come with us, sir.
They be like, Mr. Simmons, you know.
Yeah, so how
how
did that happen? They just the people from the label just hit you up and was like, the fucking president wants to meet with you? That's fucking huge.
Yo,
that's not the average everyday text message that you're gonna get. That's kind of crazy.
Yo, we was just like, oh, this is a phone call. This is like when the red phone rings in the in the emergency room. So we got the call, and I think this was when he was going for his second term. It had to be his second term. No, it might have been the first term. I don't know. I can't remember. Around 2010, whatever's around that time. So we got the call to perform at the I think it was the summit or the congressional convention. I can't remember. It's one of them names. And so the security clearance is ridiculous, bro. Like you can't even have hot food in that motherfucker. Like it's got to be like room temperature. And and it was so crazy because it's so crazy because we had to get cleared so far in advance that I ended up firing one of my dancers and then having to bring her back to perform with us after I fired her just because she's the only one that got cleared. So
Right.
It's wild.
You thought you wasn't gonna see me? Hit you with the old dirty bastard voice.
Bruh. Wow, bro. And you know, so yeah, man, I was definitely like, yo, expecting the other thing, like, yo, Mr. Simmons, step over here. I done been in the principal office way too many times. So yeah, that was definitely like a what the fuck moment. Like, wow, like they really want me to come. And I guess that just speaks to like how impactful that era is, because it's certain things. Like I was just thinking about Michael Jackson the other day. I was talking to my homie Brother Panic, who actually was a producer in the 80s. You know, he would work with like Marley Marl and Public Enemy. And so we actually, you know, we made the album Southmatic, you know, where we like flipping all the old school shit, like a homage, a southern homage to classic hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. And so we was just talking about Michael Jackson and how like it was certain shit that like the Beatles tried to do, but Michael Jackson pulled that shit off. You know what I'm saying? They both was huge.
Right. Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just certain shit like that now it happened at the time, you know, because people talk about like, yo, is, you know, the whole LeBron MJ debate. But it's like, how, like, what would the game be if there wasn't a Michael Jordan? You know, it's hard to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, how can a tree or how can a branch be greater than its roots or whatever the phrase is? That a phrase? I don't know.
I never heard that one, but
but yeah, so
smoke trees with the roots. That's what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Would you go back to the White House if Trump asked you to come?
If Trump, like, first of all, no one is taking that check. No one's no one's taking that check. I'll take a check from Obama. Yo, and it's kind of interesting, like, it's interesting, right? Because, people who are like, who, first of all, I don't like the title conspiracy theorist. I have a better term. So even being like the type of person who's like, real, like, I don't want to say anti-political, but always having controversial views on politics, I guess. Even with all this shit happening, I still feel more comfortable in a room with Democrats than Republicans. Like, I'm just not, like, that's just how, that's how I'm gonna feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some real shit. And it's like, I'm definitely not taking no check from Trump. Like,
Right.
It's not happening. But, yeah. Did that answer the question, I guess?
Yes, I applaud that.
Yeah, you had the young lady, I forgot her name, the young black lady. She's been doing a bunch of stuff with Kanye too. I saw her. She really advocates for all of the Republicans and stuff like that. And as far as being a black woman,
I totally forgot her name, and I saw it the other day trending.
Yeah, she tries to make this point where she's like, black people have
Candace Owens.
Yeah. Her thing is, black people have always been conditioned to be Democrats, and they never really understood the other side of the fence, like to be like a Republican, etc. And that's why somebody like Kanye is a Republican, or he says he is, or whatever. Did you ever feel like, I don't know what the situation is as far as like voting and things like that, but did you always feel, did you ever feel like, I'm a Democrat because my parents and my family was Democrats, whatever, or you just came to on your own?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, you grow up in the house drinking Pepsi, you drink Pepsi. You grow up in the house Atlanta is a Coca-Cola city. So, we the Coke boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody drinks Coke. Like, that's just what it is.
The real Coke boys.
So,
real
so it's
Coke
like,
boys.
Yeah, man, like, I definitely feel like I guess, like, even still, I feel like being aware of it is good enough. Like, because everybody, like, I grew up liking Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Some people grew up liking Kobe. Some people grew up Democrat. I don't think it's like a bad thing per se, but I am aware of my upbringing, you know what I'm saying? I'm aware of what I like and why I like it. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna, like, deny somebody else, common decency because they are Republican or because they like Pepsi and I'm from Atlanta and we bang for Coke. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's just some shit completely way off the, some shit, I'm just like, I don't want no parts in that. I don't want no parts in that. Not doing it, don't want you. You know what I'm saying? If it's that, it is what it is. But for the most part, I'm not really like, I don't segregate myself against ideas.
And I remember we used to talk a lot about sports, and we talking about it now. Like, I think this year was probably like one of the biggest blows to sports, especially like within like the African American community and the music community, like with Kobe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how did as far as like an entertainer and outside, like as a fan, like how did that affect you?
I was in Australia when this happened, and I remember when I woke up, I got the news, and I was like, "What?" Like, I thought I was still sleeping. I'm like, "What? Nah, this ain't what?" And so, it's kind of interesting because I came across this headline that said that Kobe is like the Hebrew translation of COVID, And I'm like, whoa, that's wild. Like,
Wow.
and, you know, everything, I guess, I'm assuming everything's connected, you know what I'm saying? Not assuming, but, you know, you see a connection to everything, but, you know, it's interesting that it is connected to sports. And then this Jordan documentary came out, and, you know, I look at sports completely different now after the documentary, and just seeing the way it affects our everyday life, because, you know, I can't go do shows, and I'm not gonna lie, like, it's kind of like a scratch. I mean, an itch you got to scratch, and, you know, it kind of changes your perspective on everything. I mean, to be honest, I know that, like, a lot of wild shit has been happening over these past couple months, but what's even more wild is my perspective on life is completely different. Like, now I'm thinking about shit like, damn, you start to, like, value certain shit more, and then you value certain shit less. It's like, well, damn, do I really gotta leave the house to go get that? Like, probably not. Or, like, I think I do want to just go jog up Stone Mountain. You know what I'm saying? I've been living by this mountain for 10 years, but today I think I want to go jog up this motherfucker. Like, it's just your whole perspective on life change.
When's the last time you've been out the crib? Like, what do you leave the, you know, you seem to be pretty compliant, you know, with everything and staying safe.
Right. And you looking at one non-compliant nigga right here. Like, I'm and I'm chilling. Like, I'm chilling. I can't complain, bro. I'm not spending all this money on shit. I got more money. I'm like, how the world shut down and I got more money? It's like, what the fuck? And so it's like all these, you start to realize what you spend so much money on. It's like, well, damn, I really don't need that. I could just chill. I ain't gonna lie though, I'm tired of cooking and washing dishes 3 times a day. Like, boy.
This shit is. Yo, Bob, man, let me ask you a question, man. Since you took like this little hiatus, you know, you're somebody who, you know, you came in the game so young. Like, how was it for you to be able to enjoy like the twilight of your 20s and, you know, what you like, 32 now?
I'm 31, sir.
30, I'm sorry, forgive me. But, you know, just to be able to enjoy like that twilight of the 20s and the early 30s, because for a lot of artists, it's a blur. Like they in the game at 21, and then they turn around and they wake up and they 41. So they
can't even enjoy it till the shit is over. That's when they like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy the shit. Like, niggas can't take vacations and breaks. They don't have those luxuries.
Yeah, I mean, even for us, Rahman, he get my 30th birthday. My birthday is June 27th. We were so busy. He gave me a surprise birthday party in August. So they're like, surprise. And I'm like, birthday.
You're like, huh?
Yeah. But we were so busy, you know, like we was gone, man. I probably was chasing you somewhere around, man.
Right. I mean, we did a documentary, and we do a documentary, like not a documentary, but like some up in New York was walking through the city.
Yeah.
Film, yeah.
A lot of fun, man.
That's some wild shit, bro. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, like this was a smooth 10. You know what I'm saying? Most decades don't go by so smoothly. This shit went by real slick, bro.
That's good, man. You gotta enjoy it, man. To like really just focus on the milestone. How did you bring in your 30th birthday?
Dirty 30, all horse behavior. I'll just leave it at that.
See, this is the stuff that we like to hear, man. Like, you know, no, for real, because you know with Bob, like, image is very clean cut, you know, for the most part. We never really hear about you getting in trouble, but I like to hear stuff like, yo, I saw Bob at the strip club and, you know, he was making it rain. I like to hear stuff like that, man.
Oh yeah, man. You know, I'm definitely in my 30s now.
In my 30s now, mature, but
But like it's funny because like, bro, I used to hate the club. My managers could never get me to go to the club to do an after party. And now they like get out of the club and into the studio.
Yes.
So but I think I was like that because I got signed when I was 17. So I didn't get to do all the wild college shit. So, I had to really like indulge in that. And I don't even want to say it like it's a guilty pleasure or nothing, like partying and, being a whore. But like, I really feel like it's just a part of life, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't have a balance, it's going to spill out on one side. We all looked at, or at least I did. I looked at Dennis Rodman as a wild personality when I was a kid. But then the documentary highlights how precise his work is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
His rebounds are like, boom, like 28, 28, 27, 26, 26. So it's like consistent. And he probably partied the hardest. And so hell yeah, man. Like, for my 30th birthday, what? My 30th birthday is every week, man. Nah.
I love it, man. So are you're independent? What is it? Independent, Atlantic? What's
independent, bro? Independent, 1,000%.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I was reading a really dope piece on you, that they put in Billboard. Was reading a bunch. And Atlantic had a lot of really dope stuff to say about you. I thought that was cool, and
right.
Atlantic's definitely doing it. How was that trek? Going from there to now being independent, and again, like, you got a lot of guys who's been in the game, who's been like really successful, and they've always been signed to a major. Like, they've never had that opportunity to take that leap and go independent like that. Like, what's that progression been like for you?
I think it was just like, I had to learn a lot about the business, and I feel like because the music industry changed, I think Warner got bought out by some oil mogul or some shit. I can't remember what happened. And then when that happened, all of the artists on Warner, because it's what is it? It's Warner, Atlantic, and Elektra or some shit. It's 3 companies, and all of them motherfuckers merged together. And
WEA, they used to call it.
Yeah, WEA. So all that shit merged together, and it was just like the staff couldn't take on the work. Like, it was just way too much. I remember one album on Psychedelic Thoughts, like I pretty much did like everything. Like, I made all my promo material. Deani helped me. Deani over at Atlantic. I don't think she's still at Atlantic, but she might be. But she was quarterbacking a lot of shit. But it was just like even my product manager had like 12 other artists to product manage. So it was like when that merger happened, it kind of just fucked up a lot of different things, but it created a storm, you know what I mean? Because it was a lot of the game was switching from physical albums to streams. It's a lot of A&R bullshit going on where you can't make your music without the A&R having a say so in it, and the 360 deal is being introduced. I chose not to sign a 360 deal, so at the time I took it personal. But if I would have knew what I knew now, maybe I would have signed it. I'm a real certain things I'm real prideful about. So I'm like, 360 deal, like, nigga, I've been signed to y'all since before all of this shit, before streaming, and y'all want to hit me with a 360 deal? What? So I took it personal, you know what I'm saying?
But guess what? A lot of these guys with the 360 deals is getting over because these labels, they can't really keep track of like all of the shows and all of these.
Right. They can't, bro. And it's like, in theory, it was an idea. In theory, it was a, you know, it would make sense as a label, I guess. But they can't. You're right. They can't keep up with all that. And then now I feel like the approach is a little bit different. You know, now I feel like the approach is more realistic, because I talk to artists who are on Atlantic now, and they say, man, shit cool. I just tell them what I need. They give me what I need. Like, it's way less combative of a workplace, I'm assuming, from what I hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
the complaints aren't the same.
when we getting some new joints?
So I'm working on, from what I can tell you, I probably might have said too much, but I'm working on a project with Sonny Digital, like a duo project. And I also just finished my I don't know what album it is, my 9th album, I don't know, 10th, but my most recent album, Somnia, I just completed that. So I'm pretty much just taking my time, because I really wanted to, I don't want people to miss this project, you know what I mean? So being independent, you know, you really got to make sure you gotta make sure you connect. And I'm tired of my fans being like, yo, man, why you make an album so long? I'm like, bruh, I put out album every year. Like, every year I put out a project. So, you know, that's the other side to it. But yeah, music is on the way. Somnia is on the way. B.o.B, Sonny Digital is on the way. Bobby Digital. And I got a couple more shits up my sleeve. So, you know, but I'm going to, I got a lot of music though. A lot of music coming.
Good.
I thought I was done.
He's back.
Nah, you know when niggas is hot, when they could sit back and kick their feet up for a minute. Like I said, not a lot of niggas can afford to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's really dope, and you know, it gives you something to look forward to. You know what I'm saying? When you got somebody coming out like bang, 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 like every so often, it's like, all right, cool. You know, but when it comes so often, it feels really special. Like, it feels like an event, and it's something to really look forward to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like fucking the Jurassic Park series from back in the days and shit, where this shit would come out every 3-4 years. You're like, oh, this is dope. Or Star Wars, or, you know what I'm saying? Like a real fucking event.
Yeah, man. So, you know, my that's the type of time I'm on now. You know what I mean? I'm on that type of time where, nah, y'all gonna wait for this masterpiece, because it's gonna be fucking good. It's gonna be good.
Nah, that's dope. And you always seemed like that. You know, it seems like you really building into that space even more, but you always came off as being like that type of guy who was really super important about his craft, and not trying to compromise him from the politics of this music industry, this media that we live in.
Right.
And, you know, like you said, at the end, it's gonna be like the body of work that what you leave that niggas is gonna look at. You know what I'm saying? Which is gonna be dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's dope.
Right.
Much respect to you, my brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that, man. This is a good discussion, man. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know we was gonna go all these places we went.
You know how we do when we get down?
Yeah. Of course.
Well, thanks so much. We liked having you on, and thanks for making time for us today after it didn't go well yesterday or the other day.
Absolutely.
Much love, my brother.
I
Appreciate it, man. Enjoy y'all day, man.
You too.
Quarantine well and all that good stuff.
Yes.
All right, peace.